Hi, I'm Stephanie Link. I'm co-portfolio manager of Action Alerts Plus and chief investment officer at TheStreet. And here with me is Dan Dicker, our commodity expert for Real Money and Real Money Pro. How are you, Dan?
I'm well, thanks.
So I want to talk a little bit about earnings season. Earnings season always brings about volatility and opportunity. What's the best name after earnings that you feel is worth an investment?
Well, there are a couple. I mean, I've not been surprised by some of the earnings that have come out. I mean, I thought that many of the domestic E&Ps would report very well and actually blow out most of the estimates, and they've done that. But it's been kind of surprising. It's been met with, you know, a little bit of negativity on the street by most of the investors. That has surprised me, and I think that has more to do with what I think is a dropping or at least an oil price that's under pressure here as opposed to what's actually going, or the results that are coming in from some of these E&Ps. So I look at someone like Devon, who has taken a long time kind of turning a corner from being a natural gas company to more of a liquids company and has reported really, really well based upon increasing production from the Permian, which is the latest hot play. And, you know, they do pretty poorly in terms of what they're doing on the street. I take that as an opportunity.
So, yeah, so initially you see a sell in the news because the stock is up $10 from its low. So expectations were high.
Very high.
But you felt good about the fundamentals. So if you feel good about the fundamentals, should you see a pullback, this is one that you would definitely be adding to.
I think this is one that you can take a chance. There are others that reported very well that the street thought were very good, and I would not go into. Well, something like SandRidge, which reported very well and has actually been on a tear recently. But I think that this is one that, in fact, you know, the production numbers in the Mississippi line have kind of reached their limit, and that's where most of their assets are. And the changeover in their controlling issues, you know, TPG Axon came in to take over for Tom Ward. Hasn't really made the big difference that everybody thought it would.
People just following.
Basically, the numbers are the same.
Are people just following Leon Cooperman into this name? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are basically the same, and their production in the Mississippi line was only up 1%. I mean, I think they've kind of reached a limit there, and they've been on a big run. We recommended them back, you know, at $5.50. They're now at $6.50. I say take your money and run.
So what do you think about our two favorites, Ensco? You and I had a video a couple of weeks ago, and we were both a little frustrated with the stock price in the low 50s. The stock has really bounced up higher, has actually done nothing but go up since they've reported earnings. What do you do there?
This is why maybe you and I are a little bit different from a lot of the people that the talking heads on finance. We don't generally follow, you know, the hot momentum stocks. We kind of discount what they're doing. We try to find value everywhere. Ensco was one of those. Everybody was concentrating on all the shale plays, and all of the Gulf of Mexico and offshore plays kind of went, you know, lagging, and nobody really kind of looked at them. Meanwhile, they increased their dividend, you know, on 50%, and it's not really, it doesn't come into a big number, but the bottom line is everybody kind of turned around, wait a minute.
All of a sudden, this company's going to go from a 3 yield to a 4.5 yield. They've got $5 billion left on their buyback. They just put up a 9.5% earnings growth in a really challenging environment. We know deep water is challenging, but perhaps we're past the worst of it. And maybe that's why the stock can actually now take off.
But I think the bottom line was that this entire sector was entirely ignored. I mean, we talked about Gulf of Mexico. We thought that all these stocks were lagging. We thought there was potential here. And you know, you have to show a little patience. You have to buy them and wait. And this is the kind of announcement and the kind of quarter where all of a sudden everybody turns around, a light bulb goes off and says, you know, this is where we really should be.
Great. I like all these ideas. Thanks so much, Dan.
Okay.